Rearview. Or did you have something?
What? No.
Should we keep talking about this?
Mm.
What I think is beautiful is that just came out of a song like that. I don't know. We kind of coerced John Joseph to speak, but yeah.
I wasn't staring at him.
Yeah, it was
I'm
me.
just kidding.
But
It was all his fault.
it was my fault.
You made him create a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Forced it out. Sorry, John Joseph. No, but I think it's cool that could come out of the music.
Your music.
Yeah. Rearview. Rearview. I was having a really hard night, and I remember I went up into the little studio apartment where my wife and I first lived after we got married, and yeah, I was singing these lyrics, like if we're by the ocean or out at sea. If we're by the ocean, out at sea. Like, no matter where we are, like if we're out in this vast water, or like we're on the beach, like, I don't know, we're still here and we're gonna keep going. So the term, or like the title Rearview, came from an idea that I had while I was living in Argentina, and then also in my hometown, Portland. So in Argentina, I met this guy, and we were driving in his truck, and he's like, man, you Americans, like, you guys worry so much when you drive. Like, you guys look all around you. What you're gonna hit is in front of you. I was like, like, that's a really interesting thought. Like, why do we, make sure there's no one in that lane, or like no one's gonna merge over and hit. I don't know. It's like you think of every wrong thing that's gonna happen to you before. I mean, I understand the principle, like trying to be conscious of those around you, but I thought that was an interesting point. And then, yeah, one day at work, I was driving to pick up some materials for the job site, and I was on the highway, and I kept looking in the rearview mirror, and I was looking in all these mirrors, and it's like, I always drive looking in the rear view when I should be looking ahead, like the things that are ahead of me. Like, I can't live and be present and appreciate moments if I'm always looking everywhere else but there. So.
And I can't find it.
Always drive looking in the rear view. Driving, acting like you know the lines. A crow flies by my back window, bring something shiny around. There by the ocean, out at sea. If we're by the ocean, out at sea. If we're by the ocean, out at sea. If we're by the ocean, or out at sea. I always try looking in the rear view. It's about time I looked ahead. The fears I bring with me, throw them a bone, throw them a bone. ocean or out at sea. If we're by the ocean, out at sea. By the ocean, we'll go till we find the darling, till we find the darling, darling. No, just keep on rowing a little boat. Just keep on rowing a little boat till we find the darling.
We were talking about it as kind of like an abstract mainstream song. In a way.
No, I guess my points were that I was just interested by how the lyrics seemed to be more interpretive and not giving you the answers you would expect in a song like that. And the points, there are a lot of songs that, of course, have nonsensical lyrics or are don't give you a point, but usually it feels like that's intentional. And this one here, it felt like there was a really clear thing to be shared or understood, but then soon after the beginning, you start wondering, well, where did it go? What was the message after all? I don't know. It wasn't told to me like I thought it would be.
It's like one of those movies that ends before it like ends,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, what the heck happened? And it's like interpretive, and you're like, no.
Why? Why?
In a way, it's kind of, you get the same feeling at the end of the song where you're like, well, wait, what did I miss? What happened? And I don't fully understand. But I thought that it could be intentional. Definitely almost reflective of how we can choose how we view our past and how we interpret the past. Many people still think different things happened in the past. The truth can be so ambiguous, even if it's our own life. And often, I guess, the past, in my mind, matters more, or only matters because of how we look at it and how we choose to react. It'll be part of us. I guess the question is always, how and for what reasons. So those are what matter going forward. So this idea of like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to, looking in the rear view, acting, I think I know where I'm going. I'm acting like I know where I'm going. But the past is so unknown. So if I can't even determine the past, how am I supposed to know who I am or where I'm going? It's like, well, you have to just make a choice at some point, right? You don't have to define it really, but at least make a choice of like, oh, this was, I don't know, this is something that I was in. Big defining moments in my past, or even just periods of time or things that had happened. And I remember looking back on it now, and this kind of plays into the he as well, but I'm like, that's I remember thinking of things like, why did I do X, Y, or whatever it was, why, what kind of idiot kid was I to do this or do that, and it can just seem so foreign. I'm just not even sure what to make of it. Like, did I really do this? Or whether it was crazy, weird, or just even impressive, it doesn't matter what it was, but it's like there's so many things you're just like, yeah, I'm not that person anymore, to the point where I can't even remember what it was like.
So you have a he too?
I think everyone does, right?
It's true.
We just don't remember half of them because they don't. It takes a lot of, I think, self-reflection to even remember those things, because oftentimes we just forget them because they're the farthest thing from our current self than they could be. And so, like when you were 3 years old, everyone was very different. Not like you were an entirely new person. You're the same person now as you were then to some extent, but you weren't like, you were not the person you were today when you were 4 or 5. There's just so much more to you that makes those pieces kind of small in comparison, because everything else is added to it in the big mixing pot of life kind of thing.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about was like, I guess this metaphor of the highway. Like highways seem to be like a place of creative space for me, but like, am I being carried like into my life? Am I carrying my life? Like, am I just in am I in the Tesla and they're just like driving me somewhere, or am I consciously engaged in the acts of my?
It's always a good question, right? It's a interesting point to think. How much control do you really have